forget. Oh, free, they're leading the way, pushing the limits, redefining the play. For the crew, for the tribe, for the ones who strive. He's the pulse of the maker's drive. Breaking the rules, yeah, he's setting the tone. For every designer making magic their own. Blueprints and dreams, they're the tools of the trade. With free heathen workshop, the future's made. His models are art, his passion's the key. He's building a world for the community. Through struggles and triumphs, he's always on deck. With the mantra he lives by, protect your neck. So keep your chin up, protect your neck. This life's a grind, but there's no regret. Just build, 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 let your heart connect. I love you and you matter, never forget. Oh, free, then leading the way, pushing the limits, redefining the play. For the crew, for the tribe, for the ones who strive. He's the pulse of the maker's drive. It's more than print, it's a way to rise through the sweat and tears under burning skies. He's here for the makers, for the love he gives. With every design, he shows how to live. All free, then leading the way, pushing the limits, redefining the play. For the crew, for the tribe, for the ones who strive. He's the pulse of the maker's drive. So keep your chin up, protect your neck. Just build, 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 let your heart connect. I love you and you matter. Hear the call with free heathen. There's room for us Yo, it's free heathen breaking the game. For the makers, the dreamers, remember the name. Crew and tribe, we're riding this wave. For every creator who dared to be brave. He's the man with the vision, designs that inspire. Fueling the scene with relentless fire. From the crew to the tribe, he's breaking the mold. Building a legacy that's fierce and bold. Promoting the makers, he's lifting them higher. Every model a spark, every print's desire. He's got the skills, the hustle, the drive. Free heathen workshop, keeping dreams alive. So keep your chin up, protect your neck. This life's a grind, but there's no regret. Just build, 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 let your heart connect. I love you and you matter, never forget. Oh, free, they're leading the way, pushing the limits, redefining the play. For the crew, for the tribe, for the ones who strive. He's the pulse of the maker's drive. Breaking the rules, yeah, he's setting the tone. For every designer making magic their own. Blueprints and dreams, they're the tools of the trade. With free heathen workshop, the future's made. His models are art, his passion's the key.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Free Heathen Workshop. My name, of course, is Maker Millwright. Welcome into my laboratory. Thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to entertain for you fine people. Your mama was a snowblower. My mama was a rototiller. I have a sign that proves it, and there's nothing you can do to say otherwise. Just so you guys know, I just want to bring up again that there's an incredible sale going on Polymaker's website right now for 40% off Starlight and COPE. Starlight PLA and COPE. I just wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of that because it is a really, really good deal. I am not necessarily known for pushing my affiliate links. They are down below, but I'm not known for that. And it's just a really good deal. I highly recommend that you check it out. I think we were supposed to start with some digital drawing today, but I think what we're gonna do is do some painting and chew the fat for a little bit and go from there. I have some stuff here on my desk that I would like. Every time I look over at it, I see it and I was like, oh, I should probably do something with that. So, again, always a pleasure. I'm going to turn some music on. Music. Because music makes the people sit in elevators. Yeah. If you guys don't know, music is the term for, well, pre-AI slop music, right? Now everything is AI slop music if it can be. So, I always take a little bit of humor in that because even I use AI generated music. But the reason why is because I can't get anyone to make music for me. So, oh, I broke the camera again. Oh, let me fix the face cam. You'd think I'd get used to not doing that, but anyway, so I'm gonna open up my desk cam here. Let's see what it looks like. My goal here is so that you... Okay, is it disconnected? No, not that one. No, not that one. Oh, maybe it is disconnected. Well, hello, Laser Lips. How are you? Let me just... I gotta hook this camera back up. Give me 2 seconds here. How it got disconnected. Maybe I burned it out. I do have a tendency to burn out cameras, so... Let me see here. Let me see here. Doesn't look like it's getting power, though. I don't think I disconnected it. Maybe I did? Maybe we burned up another camera. Yeah, I think we burned up another camera. Oops. See, Laser Lips? That's how you burn up... That's right. That's exactly. How's everybody doing today? Like I said, oh, we jammed another camera. You'd think after years of doing this, I wouldn't have this problem anymore, but I still have this problem. It's because I use too many USB hubs. That's the truth. Huh, that's weird. It just turned off. Just harassing me. Whose butt? What? I don't understand what you're talking about. Yeah, don't break cameras. No, that's not the right one. There we go. So that's that. That's the one you guys are on. And then this one should be this one? No. Still not the right one. There we go. Ah, perfect. That's the one I want. And then I can probably tilt that up a little bit. Why is my V0 broken? Because I haven't changed the fans yet. That is the... You want the honest truth with that one? I got new fans from LDO way back in March. No, in June. In June. And I'm supposed to change out the fans on the Stealth Changer head. I just haven't. And that is something I need to get to. Now, I will be honest, though. Lately, since March, we've basically had a bunch of artist block. And artist block, you know, kind of limits me on how much I want to do anything of anything, right? So, that is primarily the reason why the V0 is not running. But yeah, the V0 stripped down so that I can do the head on it. Yep, I know. I know. Get back to work. So we're going to do a little bit of model painting today, speaking of work. and keep working as hard as we can on stuff we can control, right? And then we're supposed to do a little bit of design work today. Now we might be doing some writing. We did some writing on Monday, but we may end up doing some writing today as well. I don't know if the live is still over there on Twitch or not. It does cycle out pretty quick. But yeah, we talked about doing some improvements on the new sourcebook for Darkstar. Twisted Spire. Or Tal Zar Rack if you're nasty. And I'm listening to a little bit of tunes here on YouTube. And painting some minis. What is everybody else doing today? That light is not in the right spot. I moved it because it was kind of in my way, but we'll move it again. Let's move that more so you can see what I'm doing. And I may have to move that camera a little bit. Let's bring that up. Let's turn the brightness up on that so you can actually see what I'm doing. Well, let's bring you guys over a little bit. There we go. So yeah, we're doing red orcs today because we want to do red orcs. And I don't even know if I would call them red orcs per se, more like purple, but that's okay. I'm not sure if this paint doesn't like my priming or if I haven't shaken the paint enough, but the color is a little on the weird side, I would say. Yeah, good paints, but it's almost like I'm doing it wrong or something. I'm not sure. Camera up more. Can do. Can do, buckaroo. And remember, we're trying to put on thin coats. And generally, we don't worry too much about overpaint and stuff, because one, the models are going to be seen from a distance. Two, what is two? Two is that we're going to paint it multiple layers, so we're not really worried about rough colors, because we'll clean that all up as we go. And three, everybody paints at their own skill level, so if you want to try painting, try painting. If you don't want to paint, you can always paint them in the slicer and 3D print them in color if you want. It does take more time. And each paint, I find that each paint is different. This paint is the D&D set paints, and I don't know. It's almost like they're old or what, because they don't go on very smooth, I find. I don't know if that's the brand or if I'm just applying it wrong. But that's where we're at on it. So we just try to do our best with what we got, right? But these were colors I asked for, and I wanted to try them out, and they're weird. They're weird how they work. They're weird how they apply color. Um, and we'll figure it all out, right? Volume's good? Perfect. Perfect. It's almost like these are highlighting colors. But the box said they're actually like complete colors. And we'll see as we go through here. But we ended up, I think, 3 or 4 coats, and it still looked a little weird. I mixed the paints manually because I couldn't get them to shake correctly. So we're starting to get some color in there. But it's weird. It's lumpy. It's like it's partially dried or something. I don't know. Do we really care? No, not really. We'll make it work. Yeah, lumpy. It's like the pigment has separated out. We'll get there. I'm just making some red orcs, because why not? Red purpley orcs? I don't know. Green orcs are fun. Purple. Maybe we'll do some orange ones? I don't know. There's no really... For Zorblend, the colors are not... They're like space fungus, so... So you can like literally make them whatever color you want. And painting over a silk is generally not something I recommend. I recommend you generally paint over like mats and stuff. But, if that's what you got, that's what you got, right? And it'll pick up color sooner or later. Or it won't. Don't matter. They're 3D printed, so you can always make more. I think they're like 4 grams, like an hour and a half each. So, and I have other colors we can try. But these were colors that were donated to the show, so I started using them. And I'm super impatient lately, so that doesn't really help much either. The paper I'm using in front of me is baking paper, known as parchment paper, because that's what I wanted to use. Get in here. Get a little bit on there. Remember, it's paint, so you just like if you don't like it, just repaint it, print new, do whatever you want. And sometimes when you make the colors like you're not super happy with the colors, you might get happy little accidents, right? So you never know. Like, just keep trying, and we'll see. Because this one's like way too dark, right? Because the primer wasn't bright enough, and we actually overpainted it with a bone white to try and bring that color up. But it still hasn't brought our color up. So I don't know. Is it worth stressing about? No, I don't think so. And like I said before, we'll probably end up using more than 3 colors on this because the last time I tried to use 3 colors, it just wasn't enough with some of the stuff. But we're getting there where we can kind of use 3 colors on stuff. So it does require a little more blending with the other 2 colors, but did find it wasn't terrible. And if at any time you're just curious, just hold it about arm's length from you. Now I know some of you people are a little bit on the smaller side, so you don't necessarily bring face cam down a bit. I cannot bring face cam down a little bit. I have to redesign a mount for it. I cannot. The current mount that it's sitting on that I designed does not tilt. So I have to make a new one. I either have to change the vertical post or like cuz I can go out, right? But that's not as good. So I leave it zoomed in. Right? See, that one's really purple. Because that was when the color had split from the base pigments. And that was just what was suspended in the fluid. Really purple there. But that's not a big deal. But yeah, this paint's a little chunky for some reason. Chunky. Not thick, like literally chunky. Not chonky like apparently that's the term for people who are fat these days, is chonky. I don't know. And then we're going over the gray just to sort of see what it looks like. This is probably just going to be a sample lot of 4. I don't know. I don't really do big army paints anymore, but we'll have to do some because with um, Twisted Spire, we just added some new NPCs to it, so I'll have to paint those guys up too. I gotta get some more filament to do that though. Or if you miss a spot, that's okay. You can always go back and clean it up later. You can leave it. It's up to you. These are all held way out here, so like when you look at them, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're not doing a show model. You're doing a group model, right? So a lot of people get really obsessed in the finer details, and that's why they never get their models painted. And I'll tell you right now, it's always better to have painted models than unpainted models. Every wargamer, every tabletop player I know, heck, that's even why they sell the Hasbro minis painted, because people just want them painted. And I would not say that the Hasbro painting system is super good. All right, so we're gonna go into some metallics because metallics are fun. So that's leather. We can use that. Got some other colors here. Silver, plate mail, rough iron, blue, mummy, putrid slime. That's like a, what do they call that? Durgar? metal. It's like a red iron metal, which is not what we want. I don't know. I think a lot of these are empty. I think that's why they're over here. All right. What's this? Is this? This is water soluble blade steel. Should we use a blade steel? Sure, why not, right? Why not? Some rust effects here. Yeah, let's use this one. Why not? I don't know how dry that is. It might be dry. Oh, that one's dry. That one's empty. We go through a lot of metal because we paint a lot of like metallic things because I like metallic things. You could paint them other colors. It's not like they're required to be painted metallic. But I'm gonna do metallic. We'll do split colors, I guess. Cobalt, a blue metal, I guess silver. Pretty dry too. What's that? That is doesn't say. Oh, cloudy gray. No, no, we're gonna go with a metallic for sure. I know some people are like trying to paint non-metallic metallics, and I just think that's silly, personally. If you do that, more power to you. But I think it's silly because like the whole reason why they invented metallic paints was for that reason. There's gunmetal. Well, let's go with the gunmetal. We'll highlight with the blue cobalt maybe. But the whole reason, like non-metallic metallics, like that was a trend years ago. Oh, War Painter. They have a ball bearing in them. That's cool. And everyone's like, everyone pushed it, and then it kind of fell off for a bit. Now it's back, and I'm like, the reason why it fell off in the first place was one, it's like a million, it's like 14 or 15 layers, right? And most people like 3 layers is too much for me. So, you know, um, I always have a good laugh at that because people, they're willing to paint like 14 or 15 layers of non-metallic to make a metallic when they could paint like two, right? Like they could just straight up just paint two or three and be done with it. Oh, well, I like the look of it. Oh, well, that's good. But the whole idea was to simplify people's painting, right? And then some people won't mix their non-metallics and metallics wash water. I've seen that. I don't really care. If I get a metallic in there, in the many layers I am painting, then I will just repaint. That is super wet. Then I will just repaint it. I will touch up the spots that need touching up. Oh noes. Oh noes, you know. I know I'm not the most sensitive person to other people's problems, but maybe it's not a problem and maybe you don't need to worry about it so much. Maybe you just like paint and keep painting and paint like, 5 or 600 models and then worry about it. By the time you paint 5 or 600 models, you'll be like, oh, I can solve that problem really easily. Never a stress again. Now, if you want to take all those extra steps, more power to you. Like I always say, right? You know, you can always do more. I'm just trying to get you guys to do the minimum, which is a little bit of painting, a little bit of relaxing, a little bit of having new ideas, right? Just like, for example, I could print these models with a point 0.2 nozzle with a layer height of 0.04, but I don't. And the reason why is because I'm going to make a ton of them. And I'm not really worried if some don't stand out to be the pinnacle. Well, they're not supposed to. These are just like generic bad guys. Sure, this could be a player character, but if it was a player character, I would make it with a point 0.2 nozzle. These are just some space orcs that you're going to end up fighting in some battle somewhere, right? For all you know, there's a fight in. I won't lie. I'm not going to lie. I could say that there's a fight in Twisted Spire where you fight a set of like space orcs, but I have not written anything like that lately. Right. I haven't done that. I'm not gonna convince you to make a bunch of models that you can choose. I'm not even sure we've done a base stat block for like enemy? We could. We could do that. I don't know. See? It doesn't have to, like, again, everyone's obsessed with the model being perfect. You know what's better than a perfect model? 10 models of good quality. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like, yeah, sure, you might have one perfect model, but if you got a ton of models that don't look like anything at all, they're just generic and blank, and they're, like, for example, this guy was neon green. Um, you know, then, how standout is it, right? Like, I don't even know what I'm actually like. I know it's a backpack and stuff, but I haven't picked. This is the first time I'm picking colors for anything. So we're just gonna do it, and then we might change colors. Like, if you are like, I don't understand your process. Me neither. That's my advice to you right now. If you're like, I don't understand why you're painting it these colors. It's because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing the thing and seeing what fits, and then I can clean it up again later if I want. Because there's, like I say, and I've said it time and time again, there is no wrong way to paint a mini or a figurine from me, right? It's designed. All the links are down below. Go check out the Thangs. These guys are up on Thangs. Um, I'm sure that somebody can grab the link and put it on the Discord for me. But like, just go and enjoy the models. Use them for our games. Use them for another game. I don't care. Just kind of sort of have fun with them. That's what they're for, right? I love seeing a little bit of kit bashing. I love seeing modifications to the models. I'm kind of into whatever you guys decide to do with it. These guys, these are space orcs from the Zorblin faction. And these guys aren't from the Cult of the Big Boom or the Cult of the Flat Moon. These guys, they're just generic space orcs. And they're supposed to be just generic space orcs. If you want to make them into something else, that's cool too. But there's no faction associated with them. They're just space orcs. And if you say, well, oh, you're using a lot of water in the stuff you're doing. Well, yeah, because it's PLA, right? And PLA absorbs a ton of water. So it'll suck all the pigment in and whatever if you're not careful. So you gotta use a lot of water. Let me just go and look for anything we missed. And if we miss a spot, oh well. Oh no. Oh no. Wait, we can add more paint to it or move on to the next model? Because we got a whole bunch of them to paint? That sounds really reasonable and fair to me. Try not to touch any of the wet paint, as it's so soft it'll just rub right off. If you do, you can always paint over it again. It's not a big deal. Just go in. Oh, there's a spot we missed or whatever. Oh, we gotta clean up this little area. Oh well. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, it's a little bit thick. Move it around. That's the nice thing about acrylics, right? Because they're water soluble, you can float them with paint. So you can float the paint with water, and then we don't stress about it, right? Oh no, we got a little overpaint on something. That's fine. Paint over it anyway. Because we're kind of picking our areas to highlight already, if that makes any sense. Just easy peasy. Just easy peasy. And we already know, well, you may not know, but I know I'm going to paint the barrels darker. So if I do overpaint, I'm not too worried about it, right? Because I'm going to go and clean them up with a darker color anyway. So maybe I change the color of these foils, maybe I don't. I don't know. I'm just doing the color layout right now, also known as blocking. And don't worry about the little areas you can't see or whatever. Yes, you can go in there and do them if you want, no worries. But the likelihood is if they're never going to get seen, why are you breaking your back over trying to make something that, no one's going to ever see? Sure, you'll know, but don't you have more models to paint? Don't you have more models to paint? Oh, Black Betty, bam blam. Whoa, Black Betty, bam blam. Oh, chat is quiet today. Super quiet today. Maybe brown's next. I don't know. Getting there though. Making good headway today. I can't believe how fast everything's going. And just get in there. Get in your little corners. And again, like this is just the first pass. We're just blocking everything out so we can kind of see what colors we're working with. We can make our color changes as we go. Typically, you'll see people do this with like one model. I do it in sets because one model never really portrays the look you want. So you're like, oh, it looks really good as a single. And then once you start doing like 10 or 20 or 40, you're like, oh, this is not so great. And I've moved away from like really dark colored models because it just looks like a big field of black. And a lot of the terrain is black nowadays, which is why you see when I print my terrain or design my terrain, it's more vibrant colors. It's meant to stand out more because I don't like that the the board being just one big sheet of black. It just doesn't do it for me. Yeah, I think we're gonna go brown. I think. We do have to redo some of that purple, but it takes a few color layers, but we'll get there. I don't think I would get this D&D paint again. I think it's overpriced for what it is, and it's a nice color palette, I guess, but the inconsistencies in the quality of the paint is like a real issue. So, like we're gonna try their rigid leather, but I guarantee this has probably gone hard. But pretty much guarantee. It's a little lumpy, but that's okay. Lumpy's okay. Paints, right? If it paints, it paints. If he dies, he dies, right? See, you can already see there. Sort of gone. Looks like poop. And I shook it. Just the pigment and the water have just. This might be old stock. So remember when switching colors, wash your brush and then wipe out the bristles. And then with this, because it's that same. I think this is all old stock. I think we got some old paint here. Because this is not... we're painting some minis. What are you working on? You can see like that's gone pretty much firm, right? So, I don't know if I can revive it too well. And I need it fairly thin. Do I have a bigger brush I can work with it? Maybe. Yeah, sort of. But then it's all in the bristles, right? Yeah. That didn't really do much. I didn't mix the paint enough? I don't know. Printing and fulfilling some Etsy orders. Excellent. That's excellent. Love hearing you making a little bit of money. We'll try it. If not, we'll just do it again, I guess. That's wonderful. I'm glad you're making a little bit of money. I gotta figure out how to start using Etsy and stuff. I have off the other work today. Oh, perfect. So you're like, oh, from my one small business, I will then take time and do my other small business. I like it. I like it. Positive, 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 right? Yes. Not super happy with this. We'll make it work. Not super happy with it, but we'll make it work. Like too thin. Let's try adding some more. So yeah, I don't think I would get if I were you guys, I probably wouldn't buy this paint. Just like from my experience. I don't really like this. I don't know who makes it. Gale Force 9, I guess. But I would not. Don't spend your money on this. I thought it was cool because the color palette was weird, but it's not. It's not muy bueno paint. I'll just give you that. The paintbrushes I have are good. These are just Amazon acrylic paintbrushes, but they're good. Maybe if it had a paint trowel, I could do this. I could try to do it with a trowel. But it's old. It's got to be old stock because it's lumpy. It's like it doesn't want to recombine with the water like it's supposed to. Yeah, I definitely would not get this. I would not recommend this paint, nor would I get it again. And as let me show you a comparison. So this is old game color. This is 2-year-old game color. Okay, that's what this is. This is game color. This is name brand D&D Dungeons and Dragons Hasbro product from Gale Force 9. Okay, so shake well. Okay, so this is game color. See the difference? See how easily that came out? See how lumpy this is? I don't know. Can we recover some of it into the other one? I don't know. Probably not, eh? Mix the two. Maybe we get more suspension? Nah, it doesn't look like it. No. Just checking in. Okay, you have a great day. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for supporting the channel. Nothing but love, my friend. Right? So, game color goes on perfectly fine. Show you the two comparisons here in a second. Same model, same material, same amount of good primer and bad primer, because I didn't prime these great, but I didn't prime them terrible either. Alright, so that you can't see because the zoom sucks. Alright, now compare the two. Not even a comparison. Not even a comparison between the two. Not even a comparison. I don't know. And do I like the darker leather color? Yes. This like light brown, not a huge fan of. I like the color that the D&D is, but it's lumpy. It's just lumpy. There's not much you can do about it, you know. Just get in there. Again, we're not looking for perfect. We're just looking for suitable because we can always repaint. We can do a bunch of things. And since I've never done this set before, I'm just trying to figure out what I like. You know, test painting is a very common thing if you guys don't know. And again, because it's so easy to work with, right? Acrylic paint is really easy. You can always just repaint it again later. Like if you, like what I'm doing right now is I'm just sort of picking sections that I have colors out for already and just painting those colors on. And then if I want to change them later, I'll just paint over them, right? But that serves me right for thinking, Dungeons and Dragons Hasbro will make a good color, nice and uniform, easy to use. Serves me right. Serves me right to buy into the propaganda. And these are old models. I think these models are 3 or 4 years old. These ended up being. I was redoing samples from my inventory with a new company, and I wanted to see how they did. Their stuff was okay for like um, it wasn't great for mechanical things, but it was okay for everything else. But it didn't like. I found it was way too soft for miniatures. But their silk was kind of a standout. This silk here, this green silk, was kind of a standout among it because it survived the drop test, the pressure test. It survived a bunch of things, and I was amazed. The the vast majority of it ended up being into either toys for the kids or what else I'm making with it. I made a bunch of stuff. I made some boxes. Yeah, I made a bunch of stuff with it. But then when it came to minis, which is the try, you gotta try every brand with minis because minis are the hardest because the layer lines and the material, like the expectation of the materials and stuff, it's very high, and it just didn't do that. So no crapping on the company at all. They did their best. But it's interesting. When I sent them a letter, they were like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." They're like, "That's what I want to hear." I was like, "Well, it did good on a bunch of other stuff." They're like, "Yeah, we don't care about that. We want to know what it does bad on." And I was like, "Oh, okay, perfect. That's kind of sort of my favorite part of prototyping with people, right?" So, yeah, they were really, really supportive, really nice about it. They didn't renew. They're not like, "Hey, can we send you some more?" And they weren't like, "Hey, can we set up a commission?" But they were super nice. That's good. Right? We like that. Yeah, just you know, we got 3 colors on there already. And it starts to look like something. Still, it ends up being that you need more than 3 colors. I just couldn't do it. I tried. I'll be honest, I tried, but it just 3 colors just doesn't do it for me. If you want to use 3 colors, more power to you, but it just didn't do anything for me. But it reads. It's what we want. That's what we want. We want to make sure it reads. I don't know what color we'll do their shirts. Maybe we'll just fill in any of the spots that are like uh, didn't get primed well with gray, like just a gray paint, acrylic, and go from there. I don't know. Yeah, okay. get the back of the knee pads. I don't know. Yeah. Starting to look like something. Yeah. We might have to go over with another red or something. Because that purple is just not. I don't know if I'm not shaking it enough or what, but it's just like not great. I'll have to reach out to the donator and have them complain. Just keep working it, right? Keep doing what you're doing. You'd be surprised that when they all, I guess it's the cheerleader effect or whatever, but when you get them all together, they look much better than when they stand all by themselves. So if you're like, I don't know if I like what I'm doing, like I said, paint them all up, paint a few of them up at least, and then stick them all together and see what they look like to you. Because as much as I may not like them, they look pretty good when they're all standing together. So that's like uniformity. I forget who said it, but it's like if you're gonna make something, you gotta make it the same quality across the board. So if they're all crappy, they're gonna look good. If they're all looking great, they're all looking great. But if there's a mix of good and crappy in there, you're gonna have problems. Like it's not gonna look good. I don't know who said that. I can't remember who said that, but somebody said that, and I was like, that makes no sense. And then I tried it, and it absolutely does make sense. It absolutely. It's like it's a specific look, I guess. If it's a uniform, it looks a specific way, so that's the way it's expected to look, right? Just getting that brown on there. Getting a little bit of leather. You know, like the backpack and stuff, right? We'll just keep working our way through it. We're getting there. Oh, it's break time. So for those of you here on YouTube, I take a break every hour or so. I gotta get up and stretch, do my own thing. Those of you watching the VOD, you'll be able to fast forward through the break, but I'm gonna get up, walk around. I'm gonna put you guys on my commercial page, and we'll go from there. I don't know if YouTube is doing anything like that, but this is from my experience over on Twitch. So my recommendation is, if you can hear me, I think it's almost time for you to get up and start stretching. But we're definitely making some headway because we've added the base color. I'm super not happy with it. So I don't know what we're gonna do there. We'll probably switch to another brand because I am very disappointed in these D&D colors. Maybe I need to get a vibrator, a paint vibrator for these. I don't know, but they're full. They still got water in them, like it's fully separated, and they were good colors. Like that's why I picked them. But I don't know. That just doesn't spread very well. It's very lumpy and clumpy, which is not good. So I don't know. I'm not giving up on them, but I'm just not going to use them today. And we're going to go to different brands and do our own thing. Um, and yeah, we'll just keep working. I think we're going to try and find a red or a purple. I don't know if I have any of that actually, but we'll try it. And we're going to finish up the brown. We're starting to see some shape and color come into these guys. It definitely is comparably to what they look like when they're green. This is what they look like when they're green. Right? They look good. Like, don't get me wrong, they're like cool. Like, I think they're cool. But when you start adding colors to them, they definitely have more life to them. These bases got a little elephant foot too. But we're going to do different sections there. And we'll see what we can do in there. We're not going overboard with these guys. Just kind of making them cool. But they definitely stand out more than being monocolored. Alright guys, I'll be back soon. Enjoy your break.
Yo, it's free heat and breaking the game. For the makers, the dreamers, remember the name. Crew and tribe, we're riding this wave. For every creator who dared to be brave. He's the man with the vision, designs that inspire, fueling the scene with relentless fire. From the crew to the tribe, he's breaking the mold, building a legacy that's fierce and bold. Promoting the makers, he's lifting them higher. Every model a spark, every print's desire. He's got the skills, the hustle, the drive. Free Heathen Workshop, keeping dreams alive. So keep your chin up, protect your neck. This life's a grind, but there's no regret. Just build, 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 let your heart connect. I love you and you matter, never forget. Oh, free, they're leading the way, pushing the limits, redefining the play. For the crew, for the tribe, for the ones who strive. He's the pulse of the maker's drive. Breaking the rules, yeah, he's setting the tone for every designer making magic their own. Blueprints and dreams, they're the tools of the trade. With free heathen workshop, the future's made. His models are art, his passion's the key. He's building a world for the community. Through struggles and triumphs, he's always on deck. With the mantra he lives by, protect your neck. So keep your chin up, protect your neck. This life's a grind, but there's no regret. Just build, 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 let your heart connect. I love you and you matter, never forget. Oh, free and leading the way, pushing the limits, redefining the play. For the crew, for the tribe, for the ones who strive. He's the pulse of the maker's drive. It's more than prints, it's a way to rise through the sweat and tears under burning skies. He's here for the makers, for the love he gives. With every design, he shows how to live. All free and leading the way, pushing the limits, redefining the play. For the crew, for the tribe, for the ones who strive. He's the pulse of the maker's drive. So keep your chin up, protect your neck. Just build, 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 let your heart connect. I love you and you matter. Hear the call with free heathen. There's room for us Yo, it's free heathen breaking the game. For the makers, the dreamers, remember the name. Crew and tribe, we're riding this wave. For every creator who dared to be brave. He's the man with the vision, designs that inspire. Fueling the scene with relentless fire. From the crew to the tribe, he's breaking the mold. Building a legacy that's fierce and bold. Promoting the makers, he's lifting them higher. Every model a spark, every prince desire. He's got the skills, the hustle, the drive. Free heathen workshop, keeping dreams alive. So keep your chin up, protect your neck. This life's a grind, but there's no regret. Just build, 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 let your heart connect. I love you and you matter, never forget. Oh, free, leading the way, pushing the limits, redefining the play. For the crew, for the tribe, for the ones who strive. He's the pulse of the maker's drive. Breaking the rules, yeah, he's setting the tone. For every designer making magic their own. Blueprints and dreams, they're the tools of the trade. With free heathen workshop, the future's made. His models are art, his passion's the key. He's building a world for the community. Through struggles and triumphs, he's always on deck. With the mantra he lives by, protect your neck. So keep your chin up, protect your neck. This life's a grind, but there's no regret. Just build, 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 let your heart connect. I love you and you matter, never forget. Oh, free and leading the way, pushing the limits, redefining the play. For the crew, for the tribe, for the ones who strive. He's the pulse of the maker's drive. It's more than prints, it's a way to rise through
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Free Heathen Workshop. My name, of course, is Maker Millwright. Welcome into my laboratory. We were originally going to do some game design and some model design, but we're actually painting. Why? Because I can, and I will do as I please. Chat's very quiet today, so if you're listening to this, you're like, hey, I'm a part of chat. Go ahead, say something, say hello. Remember, chat integration has to do with people being able to find us, and we're a small channel, so we like it when people find us. But I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for being here. We're just painting some models, doing some stuff, you know, stuff and things. So we're just working with a bunch of different paint companies here. No sponsored material today. Well, I guess donated from the tribe, but no company. We did decide that I don't think we like the D&D paints. So yeah, just painting some models, chillaxing with you fine folks. We're working through, these are some basic troopers I believe they're called. Basic troopers from Zorblin Spaceworks with the dual barrel cannon. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. 10 toes, 8 fingers, only 1.5 thumbs. Could it be a millwright or a shop teacher? I got all of them. That's how you know I'm a really good millwright. Lucky, you're lucky if you got all of them. I haven't even lost any digits. Lucky enough. Maybe it's more skill than luck. Hello, Down Undermaker. How are you, friendo? We're over on your platform today instead of the usual over on Twitch. We're enjoying some very chill time over here on YouTube. Um, Doing my best to keep everybody entertained and hanging out. Chat's real. One of those things I've never really been able to dip into over here on YouTube is chat's really quiet. I think everyone's just used to watching YouTube as like a video, whereas like on the Twitch platform, you have a lot more interaction, social interaction, I would say. Is this a paratrooper? No, this is just a base trooper. I don't think the Zorblin have paratroopers. Yeah, I don't think they do. I think their belief of paratroopers is splat. Splat. Splat.
You only jump one without shooting, without a shot. Yeah, you could do that. I don't know. I haven't done any like drop troops for the Zorblin yet. I saw your new video for canoes with the new Mac. I thought that was pretty cool. Wasn't too bad. Yeah, I thought the model was good. I have an entire like battle world idea for like big mecha and stuff. I'll have to talk to you about it at some point. I still working on Twisted Spire, so I should be like writing down like the concepts for the next book, but I don't know if we're doing a racial book next or if we're doing. Yeah, I don't know what the next book is. I haven't specifically decided yet because there's a bunch of stuff that for the for each faction that has to be answered and whatever. So we're about halfway through um, Twisted Spire's book, like built. We're about 70 pages. So it should be like around 160, I think. 140, somewhere in there when it's all done. So I'm getting there. It's a lot slower than I expected. I thought I'd be able to hammer it out like nothing because I already had the concept and everything ready, but it's taken me a lot longer than I expected. Again, I probably should work on it when I'm not streaming because I have a nasty habit of just making it when I'm streaming, right? So that's like one of the big ones, right? It's like that's probably one of my biggest weaknesses is like I generally like to include the community in the builds, but recently I've noticed that the communities are just like they just kind of sort of enjoy listening to me talk about it. So what difference if I write off stream? Who cares, right? But I'm like should be 160. I have to go look at. I have to take some other references and then see where I'm at, right? But if I can figure out, because I don't really, this will be like the second RPG book I've ever written, right? So it's not. Is that black? Yeah. Is that gray? That's gray. Let's try that one. It's not like I know what I'm doing, right? I know what I want. I know what I think is cool. I'm gonna write what I think is cool, and then right. For those of you watching the VOD or those of you new to the channel, I'm writing. I write a pen and paper RPG. It's very community fed, and it's called the Darkstar Chronicles. The main book is already out. The links should be down below if you want them. Um, and we're writing the first source book. And the first source book, writing it on Mondays, which I probably should write more than just Mondays, but it's being written, and It has to do with this big planet that's all broken up, and I'm actually only doing part of the planet. I probably should like make a small reference to the because it's 12 different plates that surround this like blown up planet, and it's really cool. But I probably should uh, name the other plates and stuff. But it's all being written by me. It's all community sourced, so it's like the community can ask questions if I miss something or whatever, and then I just add it to the book as we work. And then recently, I've had people ask if they can be a part of a playtest, which the answer is yes. Reach out to me, and we'll go from there, right? But we do our best to make it sure that it's like all sort of community themed, and it's it's for you all, right? Because that's the idea, is to make something for the community and people instead of being worried about will it sell. I'm really worried about is like how cool is it, because I'm sick of the big companies just taking you guys for a ride on everything. I know. How can you be on a moral high horse against big companies, right? But I am. So you can join the Discord and get involved. It's totally up to you. But main book's done. Each book is an improvement off the first. I'm not looking. This is a life project for me, so I'm not looking to rush anything. I'm always looking for more help, but not looking to rush the project. Not looking to do anything like that. We aim to have like I don't know if the open source is the right word, but we're hoping to have a license system for it, so you can make your own books within the setting, and so you can sell them and whatever. And we got things in the works. Just trying to make the book a little more successful before I offer it to anyone else to help, right? If that makes any sense to you guys. And it's just because the whole thing comes from it. This all comes from I didn't I didn't like that everyone was cloning existing games and stuff, right? For miniatures and stuff. So I made my own because I wanted to make my own proxies for whatever game I was playing at the time. And then it just became like, hey, why am I printing other people's proxies when I can make my own? And then that sort of started its own thing. And then Seth and I worked on a book together or a game called Beacon of Doom. It came out a couple years ago, and we really had a good time with that. I'm always bugging Seth. He's here in lobby. I'm always bugging him to, say to me, "Oh, let's let's write another book or two for it. Let's work on some models together for it." But we're always trying to grow, and I sort of take that moral high ground because I'm like, these big companies, they just want your money. They don't really care if you like the game or not, and they just want to bring you into their system and keep you there, and you'll just keep buying their stuff, which is good. Like, don't get me wrong. Of course, I want you guys to buy my stuff, but I also want you to have opinions and feedback and ideas to grow to make the game better and better each time. So each source book or whatever, each new idea, and I will happily write stuff and add to it, and that's what we're doing. And I know it's an impossible task, which is probably why I like it so much. Sometimes I like things that are just impossible. Sometimes I'm just into that impossibleness. Maybe that's just part of my personality. This gray is like a perfect match for the Krylon I use to prime these models. So, yeah, it worked out perfect. Which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's like a perfect match. I like it. Got lucky there. So he's gonna be wearing like commando gray. Just painting. Just a painting. Just a little bit of painting. Just some gray to cover stuff up. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I didn't think the commando gray would fit it, but it looks okay. Still gotta do something about all that off color, but see what we can do, right? Maybe we'll highlight with a red or something. I think I've got a red. I guess we'll do some more gray on this guy. This guy's just like an additional. Yeah, I gotta get a better camera over here, but he didn't get painted, or it, because I guess they don't really have a gender. They're mushrooms. It's got lots of green in here. And I don't have to worry about any overpaint or anything. And that's one of the nicer things about using PLAs and stuff is that the filament, unless you leave like really big high spots, will actually suck in a lot of the color, so you're not hurting so much, right? Yeah, just get in there. Again, you're gonna correct this as you go, right? So it's like, don't get all wound up about it. I know these models could be split up. Ooh, a box. A box of what? Get some new filament or something? New printer? Some new models? What? New books? You got a new book out there, Seth? Oh, nice. You got some filament, did you? You prepping for Halloween, are you? With that orange? That's cool. I know. I gotta start doing some stuff for Halloween. I don't know what though. We do. We do have that truck. I sort of was doing some art looks. Orange is a good color. I agree. I'm annoyed at buying refills, but now I own 4 refills. Yeah, I got some reels. Like you, everyone's like, "Oh, print them." I was like, "I'm not printing. I'm not printing refill reels. That's stupid." Like, if companies want to send them with product, then fine. It did end up saving me because Sunlu, when I tested some Sunlu stuff, they were all coming on like refillable reels, and I ended up putting some West 3D Rainbow on that. So it did save me, but typically no. Just like I'm not one to rewind filament. I don't much care for the refills. Everybody says, "Oh, it's better." I was like, "How is it better?" Oh well, I don't like cardboard reels. I was like, "Well, okay, but still, how is it better?" They don't discount the price for the reel because the reel costs them next to nothing. They discount it because it's easier to manufacture. So, and actually, I'm not even sure that's true. I'd have to go look at prices. And it's better to have the reels and not have them than not have them, right? At least in my world, it is. That's like my perspective. But yeah, Sunlu. When I tested Sunlu PLA 2 plus, um, they're matte. When I tested a bunch of their stuff, they sent them on refillables, which I thought was really clever. Simply because someone like me, with as much filament as I go through, if they ever wanted to cut a deal again or whatever, we could they could just send me refills, which I thought was pretty funny. Ordered refills by mistake. I can still use the reel on this way. Yeah, I got no problem with like them sending out like hard reels that are like get rid of the old hard reels and do the refillable hard reels. I got no problem with that. I like the cardboard ones because here in Vancouver they recycle cardboard. And I typically do not buy refills because when I used to buy refills back in the day, years ago, they I had problems with them. When I loading them onto reels and stuff, I always had problems with them. So I wasn't a fan. So and that just never changed for me. I just was never a super fan of all that. So now we're gonna use this is dollar store red. It's like an orangey red. We're just gonna use a dollar store red to try and bring these colors up because this purple red stuff that I have here is just not good. And this stuff is like you can thin it. It just takes some practice. Just takes some practice. And then we're just gonna go and probably use it as like a highlighting tool. I don't know. Give it red lips. Why not? Why not? I think this red is too bright, but oh well. We'll see how it turns out. I think it's too red. How can it be too red? I don't know. It just is. That's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Gives it that sort of red highlight on top. It's still too bright, but that's okay. It's definitely gonna get the job done. But yeah, it's not terrible. Yeah, just getting in there. The red's not bad. I don't know if it saves the model, but it definitely gives us something, right? Gives us something to work with. It's not super clean, but yeah, it's not terrible. Still need some more color, but yeah, we'll get it figured out. We'll see how it goes. Now that I look at it, it's not so bad as it dries and as it sort of as I do another one. It's like I said before, right? It's, you don't really know until you start doing groups of them. Yeah, not bad. Not great, but not bad. Sort of middle of the road sort of feel to it. Nice, nice. That's cool. I can't wait to see that project come around. Couldn't bring yourself to buy a clear tank? You can do a video series. Oh, that'll be exciting. I was just watching, probably something boring for you guys, but just watching how YouTube here has decided to make it a little harder for content creators. But I don't think that's quite right. I think what they're doing is they're trying to control what content comes up. I think that's what it is. And I think they're going to target the AI generated stuff more than anything. So, everybody keeps saying, oh, it's a bad time to join YouTube, but they always say that. So, my answer to you is like, if you're going to make a video, put it on YouTube, show it with people. One of the coolest things about the internet, in my opinion, is the fact that you can meet people from across the world and learn different things and talk to different people and create different interactions and stuff. And I really like that personally. So, but yeah, there's so many of the bigger channels like, oh, it's terrible time to join YouTube. When is it not a terrible time to join YouTube? Like, it's like most things. It's like the only terrible time to join is when you don't join. You know what I mean? Like, it's like everything in life. Like basically, there's no good time to join, so you might as well just do it. Makes me laugh. I don't know. I don't really think about it until I mentioned it today. The bike's like 46 years old. There you go. So it's a classic. So somebody's got to have one. Not only that, but you know, it's like that 80s look too, right? So could be worse. 46-year-old bike. Wow. That's and that's wild because that's the 80s. When I think 46 years ago, I think like the 60s, the late 50s. I live in a my own delusion, I guess. And I'm not a particular fan of any vehicle that came out of the 80s, to be honest. Even the 90s, right? Like there's like that's a classic because here in Canada, anything over 25 years old is a classic. But I hold on. Yeah, 30 plus makes it an antique. Yeah, exactly. My CAD book just showed up. That's cool. My AutoCAD book just showed up. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, think about that. So 30 years ago, it's 2026. So that's what? 94? What came out of the late 80s, early 90s? Not yeah, 96, sorry, 96. Yeah, 96. What out of there would you say had classic appeal and was timeless? Definitely not the Mustangs. The rat body? They were ugly Mustangs. I know there's guys that like them. The Dodge? Dodge did some stuff, but what that yeah, Dodge Lightning maybe? The pickup? But the vast majority of stuff there? Send to the scrappers, man. Unibody, aluminum, bad engines, bad transmissions. What, Honda Civics maybe? Three door? Right? Maybe some Volkswagen Golfs? Yeah, the Ford Lightning. Okay, sure. Take the Lightning over the Mustang, no problem. But there's nothing like the early Jeeps, the whatever, the red one with all the parts. Yeah, exactly. Well, no, because that was that V8. Yeah, the Ford Lightning was that. Yeah, pickup. Yeah, yeah. I know the one, but there wasn't. The '90s didn't make anything that lasted. Viper, sure, sure. 5 liter supercharged, sure, yeah. V8, 5 liter supercharged, sure. Viper, sure. Except Viper was the Corvettes weren't very nice. The what's the other one? Corvette and what's the other one that starts with a C? They weren't very nice. Bad cabins on them. Same with the '80s ones actually. A friend of mine had a Corvette. I couldn't even sit in the thing because of the shape of the dash. I couldn't even sit in it. He came by one day to pick me up, and I was like, dude, I don't even know how you expect me to get in this thing. Ford Rangers? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Nintendo stuff, sure. I'll give you the but car wise? Sure. Nintendo. I wasn't an SNES guy. I was a Sega guy, but still, Nintendo, SNES for the SNES guys, Sega for the Sega guys, um, Game Boys. There was tons of fun little Game Boys. Especially that's when they went from the black and white screens to the color, which was cool. But the clothes, meh. And I'm like into like clothes. I like clothes, but meh. I don't even wear like most guys will wear their baseball caps backwards. I don't. Most guys won't wear a flat brim. They'll wear a contoured brim. And I don't like contoured brims at all. They remind me of days out on the yard. So teeth at some point. Sure, Nintendos, Segas. Some of the computers were kind of fun because that's like in the late '90s is when people started hot rodding computers and stuff, making them look cool. But car wise, truck wise, like even Ford Rangers, because that's when the Ford and Chev started buying other companies. I don't know, man. Doesn't ring my bell. Maybe it rings someone else's, but it don't ring mine. Yeah, I really liked the transparent color plastics of the '90s and the early aughts. But gaming's going all digital. It'll all be like Steam now. So why even worry about PlayStation, Xbox, or whatever? If Xbox has got any brains in their head, they'll say, no, 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 we're going to go and make physical drives. Then we're just going to lower the amount of units. It'll be order on demand. If they got a brain in their head, but I don't think they do. I think rich people don't have any clue what the real world's like. But like even Harleys from the 90s weren't even all that great. Harleys are pretty much ageless. The Indians, the Enfields, I don't think they were that great. Because that's when they started moving over from carbureted to fuel injected. And all the what happened to the aftermarket industry? Granted, I don't know a lot because I'm not really looking at cars, but trying to rebuild the carb on this bike. Plus, there's 3 or 4 of them I have to sync. Yeah, I've rebuilt a carb once, and I was not a fan. Do I think carbs are great? And if you know how to fix them, yes. Do I think they're awesome? 100%. Not great for where I live here in Vancouver because, there's mountains, there's plains, the air is always wet. Like, it's not great that way. But it is great because there's less ECUs, there's less extra steps, and I'm a big fan of less steps, to be honest. I think everything now has way too many extra steps, too much cost, too much overhead, right? But too many rules. I think they take all the fun out of it. We suffer from hyperinflation, so they inflate prices more. They give us less, increase prices more. How much I have to pay for that old ding tank? I need one without a bunch of holes in it. Yeah, yep, absolutely. Now, granted, though, that is a really old tank. Right, it's nearly 50 years old. What did you say it was? Like 46? You say here? You said something. Yeah, it's nearly 50 years old, man. The fact that it even exists anymore, that is a marvel of modern technology. Yeah, like, if it's just sitting there, why not? And as long as you didn't pay through the nose for it. I know you weren't a fan of buying a new one. I know you wanted to fix yours, but that's pretty cool, man. I don't know. That be see, I just can't do any hot work here where I am. Because I'd like to get a car and just fix it up. I like fixing stuff up. Even if it costs me a little extra money and it doesn't really get me anything, it's still fun fixing stuff. It's close. It was close to 300, but as long as I get it, yeah, that's all that matters. Yeah. And like you said, the original was all rotted out, so I say maybe save the original, bondo it up or whatever, and have a spare or whatever, sell it off. I don't know, but I don't know much about online selling. If you guys don't know, I don't sell anything. I sell digital models because I just really can't handle the stress of all that online sales stuff, to be honest. I get so stressed out by stuff. Rusted through from the inside out. The pressure washer blasted holes in it. Yeah, it wasn't much more saving. Yeah, that'd do it. That'd do it. Like a cool wall hanger. Yeah, no wrong with that. Especially because depending on how beat up it is, right? You could just cut it in half. Could just cut it in half and have like make a pocket out of it. Wouldn't be the worst. You could put it on eBay. And see what people will pay for it. Right? You could do that. That is a doable option. That's funny. Ever the capitalist. I'm all about making that money. The company I work for, for the machines cleaned out, but they don't want us to get a good steam cleaner. They're old. Nice. I was doing forklifts for a while, doing services on like it was like a repair yard. So we were doing like we were doing forklifts, we were doing industrial machines, but we're doing all kinds of forklift. They even yard, they could never get it recertified, but it was like a low mobile crane. It's slick, but you could never ever get it recertified, right? No way. Um, that's the same company I worked for. We were working on an injection molder from a battleship. That was slick. That was pretty cool. Um, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff there. Yep, yep. One company they were like, "Well, you gotta bring your own tools." It's like, okay, so am I getting a tool allowance? No. This is when I was an apprentice. I was like, okay, so I don't get a tool allowance. You're not paying for school. You're not paying for boots. So I'm gonna have to charge you if I bring my own tools then, because like you're just paying for labor. You're not paying for the thousands and thousands of dollars in tooling that I have for myself to get the job done for whatever task you need. Oh, well, that's not how it works. It's like, well, it is how it works. Like you guys are making the decision that I'm not worth investing into as an apprentice, so I'm going to treat this just like contracting. Well, you don't have to do that. I was like, well, like, what's the deal? It's like it's either one or the other. It's like, you know, you want skill and talent, but you don't want to pay to have anyone be skilled and talented. I did the math. After 60 machines, the steam cleaner would pay for itself. It's like 1 year or less worth cleaning. Oh yeah, and that's not counting weekends. Because maybe there's some steam cleaning to be done on weekends, right? Oh yeah, I'm aware. Yeah, I'm very much aware of the cost of things now, and that's why we're always trying to grow, right? So as ridiculous as it is for me to come here on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, being a disabled content creator, more than anything these days, I am super aware of what it takes for everything that I want to do and what it costs. For those of you who don't know, I travel for this show. I travel for the design work. I try to get involved in social media and maker events, and it's not easy, but it's worth the effort. I think a lot of things in life are weird that way. Typically, I would say, "Oh, it's not worth doing. Don't do it." But building stuff, making stuff, but you got to monetize like crazy across platforms now, especially when you're disabled. So I take commissions if anybody's asking. There's affiliate links down below if you want them. I don't make commercials for companies though. Everybody wants to make a commercial for a company and then they don't realize what that commercial is actually worth. But that's okay. We do things our way. And maybe we get what we want, maybe we don't. But at least we're doing things our way. Oh yeah, like check out my model links down below, everybody. If you're into 3D printing or tabletop gaming or anything that stuff, I got tons of link. We're monetized out the wazoo. Check it out. Actually, I'm gonna start doing some merch for you guys too. We have merch over on Twitch, but I think it's a little overpriced. So for what you get, but we'll make something over here on YouTube. Maybe we'll use Foursquare or something. I don't know. Making some headway. I wish that purple had been more like this. I wish it isn't. Every time I try to use it, this is okay. I like this guy here. Oh, you guys can't see nothing. Let's see what I can do here. right? So we went the red, but I kind of like that purple, and that zoom is just terrible. But I like that purple, but it won't paint uniformly like that. It's kind of a mixed bag every time I try. And then we'll do the bases. I don't know what color we're going to do the bases. We still have to do bone white for all the teeth and toenails and stuff. And I'm not in a super rush to do that, but we could probably start that next. Alright, let's see what we got here. We have some bone white in here. Bone white is like an off-white. This is skeleton white, that'll do. It's like an off-white, and then you can highlight with white white. The same. Hmm. There we go. That should be more than enough. Then we just use that, and then what we do, like, and this is where we're starting to get into a really fine tip brush, so this takes a little bit longer. And of course you want, especially when it comes to like white, red, yellow, there's a couple of colors that really are better. Alright guys, I gotta put you on break. I'll be back soon.
Yo, it's free heathen breaking the game. For the makers, the dreamers, remember the name. Crew and tribe, we're riding this wave. For every creator who dared to be brave. He's the man with the vision, designs that inspire, fueling the scene with relentless fire. From the crew to the tribe, he's breaking the mold, building a legacy that's fierce and bold. Promoting the makers, he's lifting them higher. Every model a spark, every prince desire. He's got the skills, the hustle, the drive. Free Heathen Workshop, keeping dreams alive. So keep your chin up, protect your neck. This life's a grind, but there's no regret. Just build, 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 let your heart connect. I love you and you matter, never forget. Oh, free, they're leading the way, pushing the limits, redefining the play. For the crew, for the tribe, for the ones who strive. He's the pulse of the maker's drive. Breaking the rules, yeah, he's setting the tone. For every designer making magic their own. Blueprints and dreams, they're the tools of the trade. With Free Heathen Workshop, the future's made. His models are art, his passion's the key. He's building a world for the community. Through struggles and triumphs, he's always on deck. With the mantra he lives by, protect your neck. So keep your chin up, protect your neck. This life's a grind, but there's no regret. Just build, 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 let your heart connect. I love you and you matter, never forget. Oh, free Heathen leading the way, pushing the limits, redefining the play. For the crew, for the tribe, for the ones who strive. He's the pulse of the maker's drive. It's more than prints, it's a way to rise through the sweat and and breaking the game. For the makers, the dreamers, remember the name. Crew and tribe, we're riding this wave. For every creator who dared to be brave. He's the man with the vision, designs that inspire, fueling the scene with relentless fire. From the crew to the tribe, he's breaking the mold.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Free Healing Workshop. My name is Maker Millwright. We're not going to be here for much longer, but what I'm doing is I'm going to go in and paint some stuff using the bone white I was talking about. And we're just going to try and see what we got going on. And I don't have all the paints and colors I want, but it's not the end of the world. Sometimes I even impress myself. Because sometimes I forget I'm actually pretty good at painting. Even when I'm working with like stuff I don't really want to work with, like it's not going great. Sometimes I forget that, I'm actually pretty good at all this business. I guess that's why you guys watch the show, huh? Yeah, not bad. Not bad. not terrible. Yeah, not bad. Hard to pick up on the camera, but I'm doing the eyes and the teeth. It's not bad. I'm just impressed that I made this model. I like that I make my own stuff. I know there's always like somebody's like, "Oh, this is my favorite designer. Or, that's my favorite designer." I think I'm my own favorite designer. Is that bad? Because only I can make what I make, and my stuff's cool, man. And not everyone has to agree with that. But I like what I make, man. Like my stuff is good. So like I really do. I like what I make, and it's cool. And it kind of blows me away. Kind of blows me away. Like I just make this stuff, and it's just like it's just cool, man. I don't know. Is the silver base gonna be too much? Let's maybe try to do a silver metal base, see what happens. I think it might be too much. We'll try it. We'll try it. And we'll have to do all of them, and then we can paint over if we don't like it, right? But I gotta get some new colors, because they only have so many colors, right? Yeah. Let's oh, I forgot to do the toenails. Let's do the toenails first, before this paint dries out. Because that'll make it pop a little bit more. Yeah. I thought the little toenails definitely made the model pop. They sure do. I guess it's okay. Yeah, okay. Might have to come in and redo some of like the terrain pieces because there's like little pieces of like stones and stuff, but getting the color in there, it's not bad. That's not bad. Not bad. We're just adding a little bit of the blue silver to like other spots to give it just a little bit of a highlight, just so it stands out. You know, you need to sections of the rifle or whatever. It's not terrible. Yeah. You just add a little bit of blue metallic there, just to break up colors every now and again. You know. Yeah, just getting some color on here. Turned out pretty good, actually. I was kind of shocked. Still some. There's one that's not great, which we may. I don't. I think we're just gonna move on. I think we'll just leave it, but it doesn't matter. And I think we missed the toenails on this one, so we'll do the toenails on this one. And then we'll do the toes on that one. Maybe you're not really gonna see much of it, but that's okay. It does sort of break up the big chunks of silver, which is okay. And we didn't use a whole lot, right? So the idea was to leave it sparingly. You know what I mean? So I'll definitely have to take some photos of these for you guys. Look for the photos probably on Instagram and Twitter. So follow my Instagram or whatever, right? Oops. Yeah. Still need to. I don't want to forget before I go. I gotta do those toes. How we doing for time today? We got a little bit of time left. Don't have to rush. We keep the streams here on YouTube a little bit shorter. It seems to benefit YouTube. Now I know I did forget the stream on last week. I got all the messages on Discord after a minute there. I got all the messages, but we're good to go. And then yeah, I hope you guys are having as much fun as I am. Cause yeah, these chill days, I don't do a lot of them. We do definitely need some advice on how to improve the painting stream so you guys can better see what I'm doing. But I don't really know how, so that's definitely going to be a thing. It's like the usual. More cameras, more interest, more things. We just we just do a lot. We're a little bit extra on this channel, you know? We're always just a little extra over here. Yeah, so that came out nice. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, didn't come out all that bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah. All right, guys, let me show you what we ended up doing today. Made a mess of that paint. Yeah, my advice: don't buy that D&D paint. It's just really disappointing. Maybe if you guys, I don't know, maybe someone else has done a better review on it, but I did not. I was not impressed. It's mostly dried out, like what I've gotten. So they came out all right. So I'll get some photos on the light box for you guys with some terrain or something, and then we'll go from there. But they came out nice. I like the red instead of the green for once. Like that's, this is the comparison, right? That's what it used to look like. That neon green versus what they look like now. And again, I always tell you guys use neutral colors, right? But we'll use these and we'll put them in a light box. I've got some terrain lying around, and we'll go from there, right? So, and then of course thanks, Seth. Of course that Voron needs to be fixed up. But yeah, guys, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Um, got our 2 hours in today. Um, we run shorter here on YouTube than we run on Twitch. So if you want a longer stream, you can come over to Twitch and see me. I'm on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 1 p.m. till 5 p.m. And sometimes we run over, sometimes we start early, sometimes we're on podcasts. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. Of course, before I go today, I need 3 things from you. 1, keep your chin up. You can't see the world staring at your feet. 2, protect your neck. I don't want you to lose your head. And 3, most importantly, just build, build, build. Remember, you are loved and you matter. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you Friday at 1 p.m. on Twitch. Oh yeah, if you want to check out the merch, you want to check out the models, you want to check out the affiliate links, um, and all that other stuff. Anything you're interested in, leave me a comment. Today's secret show was called Party Time. Leave me a comment saying Party Time so I know you got to the end. And thank you all for being here. I will see you all at 1 p.m. on Friday on Twitch, the Free Heathen.
Well, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed it. Well, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed it. We had a ball making it.